professor at Universidad de los Andes in Bogotá. She also teaches a postgraduate course on information and communication technology and English language teaching at Universidad ICSI. She has worked as an instructor designer for different universities and private institutions. She has been a member of the board of the Flipped Learning Network since 2021. She holds a master's degree in educational technology and TESOL from the University of Manchester in the UK, a certificate in English from Mount Holyoke College in the US, and 4 certificates for the line in positive education from Universidad Tec Milenio, Mexico. Okay, Master Rodriguez, so you may proceed.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Miguel, and thank you, everybody. Thanks to the university for this invitation. And today I'm really happy to talk to you on behalf of Macmillan Education. So I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So it's coming through. You tell me when you see my screen, please.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, wonderful. So thank you very much for that introduction. Well, today I'm going to be talking to you about flipping your English class with artificial intelligence, since all the challenges that the pandemic brought to us bring these two concepts together. And well, as Miguel mentioned, my name is Carolina Rodriguez Buitrago, and today I speak to you on behalf of Macmillan Education, one of the organizers of the conference. So thank you so much for being here at this time. It's 6:36 in Bogotá, Colombia. I know it's 5:36 for you, so good afternoon, good evening to me. And well, hopefully we have some interaction during our session today. So I want you to think about student-centered learning. I want you to think about this idea of putting students at the center of the learning process, and how the technologies that we have learned post-pandemic, or that we are able to use now after all that craziness during the pandemic, have helped us put students in the center of the learning process. I want you to think about how our teaching practices have transformed. Okay, there are some microphones going on. Okay, so how our teaching practices have shifted, how we have been able now to acknowledge and include student variables, how the environment in our institutions have changed. And so the idea of student-centered learning brings back and brings forward these concepts of flipped learning and educational technology, more specifically artificial intelligence, which I know has been sort of around the topic of today's discussion. So I don't know you, but I dream of having excited students going to class like this, being happy to be in my class, but that's not necessarily what we find, right? I like to call mine pandemials. They're very different to the students that I used to have before the pandemic. These students are a little bit less excited, less motivated, less committed, probably more distracted. Their attention spans are shorter. I have noticed a lot of changes in their ways of being and in their ways of learning. And so considering that, I have started to implement new things in order to help them be more motivated, be more engaged, and also become the center of the learning process. I want to invite you to watch something. Give me 1 second to see if it pops. I need you to signal me, Miguel, if you hear.
Oh, let me see. The volume is not very good. David, can you help us with that?
I can increase it here. Let me see. Let me try now.
Have you heard?
Yes.
Is it better?
Now
okay.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, now it works.
It is an AI platform that is a lot more advanced than your typical Alexa. This is OpenAI. It is open source, so it is able to be mass edited. With the help of a community, they have been able to really expand this AI to be quite efficient
Okay.
And it is posing a big problem for teachers because ChatGPT can write authentic essays now. You can say, write me an essay on the Civil War, this particular battle, this particular day, and put it in third person. And it'll go, and then you go, oh, sorry, I need a bibliography done.
Really?
Yes.
So, Devin, what I'm hearing is we have just solved the education problem in America.
You know what else we solved?
What?
The homework position that I took in the beginning. We are now done in 6 minutes. We are finished.
I liked it.
Dad, what's no? ChatGPT, not me.
Well, I don't know if you felt that, if you recall the fear when ChatGPT came out and everyone was petrified, scared, terrified. Once again, I remember listening to this fear in teachers like 10 years ago when all these social media started to grow so exponentially. Are we teachers going to be replaced? You know, and so that is the same fear that we get every time a new technology shows its face at the door. And today, what I'm here to tell you is, and I think you have heard it throughout the afternoon, is we do not have to be scared about these new technologies. What we have to do is leverage them to our benefit. We have to work with them in order to catch our students' attention, engage them a lot better, and really make sense of what's happening in the technology and bring it to the human component of education, which teachers bring to the table. So the table of contents, the agenda for today, I'm very ambitious. Let's see if we can go through all of these points. First of all, we're going to be understanding flipped learning a little bit. Then we're going to be exploring AI in education. Then we're going to move on to benefits of flipping your class with AI. Then we're going to go into practical steps to implement AI in a flipped English class, which is the title of this talk. And then we're going to go out to address some concerns and challenges that we might have about this. And at the end, I will give you an interactive demonstration with a tool. Okay, so are you ready? Well, let's get started. So let's start by understanding flipped learning a little bit. So I would like to invite you to navigate a site. So Miguel, or I don't know who the tech help is going to be, I would love for you to share this link into the chat box in the YouTube stream. Okay, and so this link is for all of you teachers to have access to. I will walk you through it and I will talk to you about what these are, but this image is for you to keep in your bookmarks in your internet page so that you can check these definitions of flipped learning every time you want them. Okay, so we have different definitions of flipped learning. We have one definition by Robert Talbert, which was written in 2017. We have a definition by the Flipped Learning Network, which was issued in 2014. And we have a definition by the ALAS, which is the Academy for Active Learning, something, I forgot. Anyway, it's Flipped Learning Global Initiative, which is one of the pioneers of flipped learning's ideas. And then I offer my definition, right? Because during the pandemic time, I decided to also contribute with my definition to flipped learning. So let's take a look at the Flipped Learning Network definition. This was in Spanish. So flipped learning is a pedagogical approach. That's what they say. It's a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction moves from the group learning space to the individual learning space. So what does that mean? That instead of teaching you the concepts as I'm doing now, I would have sent you this image for homework and you would have checked it at home by yourselves. And you would have read and you would have said, okay, now I understand what flipped learning is. I'm going to ask the teacher these questions. All right. So we transform the group space into an environment that lends itself to dynamic and interactive learning in which the teacher is a facilitator, a guide, one of those 21st century words, and guides students in the application of the concepts and their involvement that is creative with the content matter. So what they say in the Flipped Learning Network is that it is a pedagogical approach. We shift what we do in the classroom and what we do at home, And then the students take advantage of the class time with the teacher to make things more actively, more student-centered, and more significant, right? Then in 2017, Robert Talbert brings a definition which is very similar. He just changes a few things. He says that it is a pedagogical approach still, but he doesn't say direct instruction, but first contact with concepts. It's important to note that Robert Talbert is a math teacher. Yeah, he's a math professor. And so for him, there are like differences in the way that he presents content. So he talks about first contact with new concepts is moved from the group learning space to the individual learning space. So as you can see, basically is that students are going to tackle conceptual material on their own, and then they're going to go into the group space, into the classroom to practice all that. I want you to think about the passive voice. When we're teaching the passive voice, we can have students have the first contact with that dreadful grammatical
Progress.
At home before they come to us, and then the next day or the next class, we can just devote to practice, to really engage them into active, into creative, into dynamic activities so that they can actually internalize that grammatical structure. Okay, so he talks about structured activity, right? And he talks about the same words, dynamic environment, interactive environment, and he talks about the involvement of professors or teachers or guides while the students involve themselves into the subject creatively, right? Then in 2018, the Flipped Global Initiative makes a little research project where they invite teachers from all around the world. So let's note that the Flipped Learning Network concept is just their concept. It's a group of teachers in the United States. Robert Talbert is this one professor, but this one is a global definition, agreed with teachers from Morocco, from the United States, from Europe, from Latin America, from all over the place, right? So what they say that is different is that flipped learning is a framework, right? They don't call it a pedagogical approach, but a framework. And this is interesting, that allows educators to reach every student. This is wonderful. I love the wording. The flipped approach inverts or flips the model of the traditional classroom model, introducing the concepts before class, allowing teachers to use the time in class to guide students through the application of active, innovative practices with the principles of the course, right? So, as you can see, basically the wording changes, but basically the definition is the same, right? And mine, no, this is another one that I will give you in a little bit. Mine is flipped learning is a compassionate teaching methodology. This is my positive education background talking. Students are placed at the center of the learning process. Teachers are architects of authentic, meaningful, and intentional learning experiences for both spaces of learning in and out of the classroom. So here, what I want to promote is compassionate teaching. And not compassionate like ay pobrecito, you know, like pitiful. No, compassionate in the full meaning of the word in English, compassion being love, being cared for other people. So if you are not a compassionate teacher, it's really hard to flip your class because this is going to bring a lot of work to you, is going to bring a lot of challenges, and you have to have students in mind all the time to be able to cope with the challenges that might emerge, right? In here, you also have a definition of in-class flip, which is part of the work that I've done with Marta Ramirez, a colleague here in Colombia. And what we did was to define or to work towards flipping your class inside your class. Sometimes you cannot send homework at home. I don't know if that happens there in Honduras, but in Colombia, for example, there are classes that take up all the space, right? So like teachers of science, math, social studies, they can give homework to students, but English, music, arts, they're not supposed to, right? So we decided to flip inside of our class. So here, this is a group of configurations that are adaptable to the inside of the classroom where individual and group spaces coexist, Like we have the students working individually, in groups, in pairs, all at the same time. All in the same place. I'm muting people who come in with their microphone open. Okay, allowing that flipped learning occurs within the educational context. So if in your school you have problems to implement this flipping, the traditional flipping, you can try in-class flip. Okay, so that was the first thing that I had to share with you. And now what we're going to do is I want to read you because I have talked for a while. So if you have a QR code reader, please read the code on the screen. If not, you can go into menti.com with your device, with your phone, and type in the code 55926243. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to do that before I open to see some of the responses. The question that I want you to answer is, what do you understand as flipped learning now after this mini presentation of the definitions? You can write your answers in the chat box as well if you want, or in the comment section on YouTube so that we can keep them after the presentation. I'll drink some water while you do that. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the Menti. Let me copy the link onto the chat box just in case somebody wants to use it from there. And you can also share that link in the YouTube stream if you want. Okay, responses are coming through. This is fabulous. Is when students work at home alone. Okay. Thank you. The student becomes the protagonist performing the tasks. Inverted routine, that works. Yes. I have a problem with this one because it suggests that students are by themselves, and that's not quite. It's not accurate, 100%. Okay, thank you so much. Flipped learning is the traditional and the new come together. Good, I like that. Absolutely. It's profiting from what we have and using what we had. It's a method that teachers use in order to have an active learning for students. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, that's true. It is a teaching strategy that we can use in our classrooms. Students get well prepared to classes and the teacher responds to their questions. Okay, great. Flipped learning is a pedagogical approach and a form of blended learning. Not always. You know, you can flip your class without any technology. So it's not within the flipped learning, within the blended learning models. It is not necessarily blended. Okay, we have 63 people connected and only 7 participations. Are the rest just right in there? Are there any comments in the YouTube stream? Flipped learning reverses traditional teaching by having students learn at home and engage in activities during class. Okay, accurate. Students are introduced to the learning material to work with their peers and they work alone. Okay. This would be more a form of blended learning. What you just wrote here. So in flipped learning,
Master Sevilla has a comment. Flipped learning is a pedagogical approach and a form of blended learning.
Okay, they put it here as well on the chat box. Yes, that's right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And we said it's not a form of blended learning. It might be, but it not necessarily is, because we can flip without technology, but we cannot blend without technology. It's a pedagogical approach based on lectures and instruction and iterate online lessons. Okay. Actually, lectures, we try to get them out of the classroom to reduce lecture fatigue. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. You can put the comments on the chat box, that's fine. Or if you can access the Menti, that's perfect too. I'll put it again if you just joined our session so that you can access it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my presentation, to my slides, because time is running fast. Okay. So what are some benefits for teachers of this flipped learning approach? Enhanced classroom engagement. Yeah, whenever we flip our class, we guarantee that our students are more engaged among themselves, with the content, and with us. Individualized instruction. If I'm not talking the 2 hours of my class in front of the classroom, I will get some time to talk to individual students and to solve their questions and to tackle their needs. Deeper learning. Definitely, if students engage fully with the material and if they go deeper into the questions, then of course we are going to guarantee deeper learning. Time for one-on-one interaction. I think this is a great benefit. I have gotten to know my students since I flipped my class a lot more than before, because since I'm not only focused on sharing the content, then I have time for interacting with each one of them. Something important here is a question that John Bergman, one of the pioneers of flipped learning, asks, what is the best use of me in class? What is the best use of the teacher in the classroom? Is it to give students content that is on the books, that is on the internet? Or is it to bring my expertise, to ask questions, to train them in critical thinking, to help them problem solve? What is the best use of me, right? And improved assessment, because we have more time one-on-one with the students, because we can get to know them more personally and in an individual manner, then of course we can improve assessment. Assessment is one of the most difficult things to do because it requires so much time. And when we flip our class, we liberate some time for that to happen. Now, what are some of the benefits for students? Flexible learning pace. Yeah, if I'm going to give my content in a different way, in the form of videos, podcasts, texts, readings, etc., then each student is going to be able to acquire the concepts at their own pace. Increased engagement. Definitely, I've seen it. I've seen it work in many different contexts. Students are more engaged in a flipped environment than they are in a traditional class. It's, for example, what's happening here. Yeah, probably some of you are paying attention to me. Probably some of you are really dedicated looking at the screen, but probably some of you are doing something else. Yeah, you're not engaged because I'm talking, right? And this is just human nature, right? So if I have my students in class, they have been through 8 hours of class during the day. Probably they're not really engaged if I'm talking the whole time, right? And so by flipping our class, we can increase student engagement. Active learning, we can get opportunities to utilize the classroom time much better, doing things that keep students active. Ownership of learning, because students are able to flexibilize the pace of their learning, then of course they own their process, and you get students who are more committed, more engaged, and who actually make decisions about their learning process. And collaboration and communication are promoted. How many times in English classes we want to practice more speaking, but we don't have time, right? If we flip our class and if we're not dedicated the 2 hours of every lesson talking about grammar, talking about vocabulary, but we open up spaces for students to collaborate and communicate, then of course this is going to be a great improvement for them. Okay, so Now let's move on to how we can enhance the flipped learning experience with the use of artificial intelligence. So we can offer personalized content delivery. Yeah. We can use different tools to generate personalized content for our students. We can do adaptive assessments. Yeah. AI technologies allow us to create assessments that will adapt to our students' needs and to our students' knowledge. Intelligent content creation. So it's not that our content created by ourselves is not intelligent, but when we use artificial intelligence, we can gather so much more data, and this can help us really tackle what our students need. If you guys, for example, use a platform, if you use any of the online workbooks, you can gather all those learner analytics and create content that suits your students and meets them where they are. Automatic grading and feedback. This is something wonderful that we can do and that can help us a lot, because a lot of the artificial intelligence tools that we can use for language learning provide feedback. We can insert the comments and the feedback that we want them to get. Data-driven insights. So we can use these learner analytics on the websites to get a sense of what the students are doing, how they are doing, what is causing them difficulty, etc. Virtual tutors and chatbots. Now we have an opportunity to have assistance, let's say in the classroom. As I said, feedback is very difficult to give, is very time consuming, and we can maximize our potential by using virtual tutors, chatbots, and ourselves. Gamification and engagement. So we can generate games, we can generate game-based activities, gamified activities, rewards, missions, quests, etc., that are going to really enhance this learning experience inside the classroom. We can do also language processing and translation. I know this scares a lot of English teachers, but we could work around these technologies to teach our students how to profit what the technology offers. Content recommendations, we can get, some suggestions on what to teach and how to teach it. Formative assessment in real time. This is something that, for example, something as simple as the comment section on Google Docs allows us now to be able to talk to our students while we are working on their documents. Collaborative learning, accessibility support. We can help our students with special needs. Time efficiency. We can optimize our time, and lifelong learning tracking. We can generate action plans for our students. We can generate plans for them to continue learning, and these can be done through the artificial intelligence, right? So talking about quotes and flipped learning, flipped classes can be rewarding for faculty who like a challenge. Most of us became scientists because we want to do things that are intellectually stimulating. This definitely is going to bring some challenges for us, but definitely we are teachers and we are scientists because we love learning. So I think we are up for the challenge, right? Let's take a look now at exploring artificial intelligence in education, okay? So I want to send you once again to the same Menti. So if you have it on your phone, I'll just hit next, okay? If you haven't opened it, here it is. The question is, what is artificial intelligence? Okay, so I'm going to go there. Where am I? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next question. I never remember how to do that. There we go. Okay, it is knowledge provided by technology, computer-based technology able to generate ideas on its own. Okay, great, thank you. You can write them on the chat box if you want. Wow, artificial intelligence or AI is a field of computer science that creates machine systems that can exhibit traits of human intellect in order to better imitate humans in tasks like learning, planning, and then enough. It was cut. The comment was cut right there. Is the ability of a computer or a robot controlled by a computer to do tasks that are usually done by humans because they require human intelligence and discernment. Thank you very much, Karen, for that very accurate definition. Okay. Automated knowledge provided by a machine. Thank you, Carlos. Wonderful. It's the performance of human intelligence processes by machines. Okay. All right, we can come back later to the Menti to see how things went in there. In the meantime, I'm going to share a definition that I found around online, which is artificial intelligence refers to the ability of a computer or machine to perform tasks that would normally require human intelligence, such as learning, problem solving, decision making, and more. So yes, as you mentioned in the chat box, it's your Alexa, right? Alexa, play this song in Spotify, or Alexa, turn on the lights, that kind of thing. So we have had artificial intelligence around for a long time, right? It has been around us in things like Waze, in things like I don't know, I don't remember now, like Trivago, like all these websites and all these apps that help us with traveling, etc. It has been around for over 10 years or more, right? The thing is now we see it in education. It's permeated what we do in education. So AI can be applied to a wide range of areas, including natural language processing, image and video recognition, robotics, and more. The goal of AI research is to create systems that can perform tasks at least as well as, or ideally better than humans. AI has the potential to revolutionize many industries and transform the way we live and work, but it also raises important ethical and social questions. So definitely the emergence of some of these tools in education has been very scary. And also, like, for example, those videos that, people are, for example, I don't know, I think it was Messi who was speaking like 27 languages, like somebody just used his face and created this video with a chatbot in which he would speak in different languages. So there are lots of ethical and social questions that are raised with this, with the use of artificial intelligence. So there are some things that normally are done through artificial intelligence that are personalization, automation, data analysis, and engagement. These are things that normally we can profit from. We thank for the systems. I don't know if any of you teachers remembers doing student card reports by hand and having to fill out, all of these reports. Or if you remember grading the papers by hand, like having 1,000 papers to grade, now you can create a bank of comments and you can add them to your Google Docs. So automation is a lot easier. Data analysis, now we have a whole bunch of data about our students. This raises ethical issues again. But for example, if you use a platform like Moodle, like Blackboard, like any of these LMSs, you have lots of great information that can help you cater to your students' needs, can help you organize different learning experiences that are targeted to your specific student groups. Better than humans, now that's scary. Yeah, we start thinking about Skynet, right? Like the race of the machines. Yeah, no, I don't think they can never do it better than humans. Or probably yes, but we always need the human factor. Engagement. This is something that has happened. We have engaged in different ways, of course. It's not the same to engage physically with a person than to engage virtually, but we are able now to do many things through artificial intelligence that really scares some of us, right? So let's take a look at some examples of AI tools. You may recognize some of them, right? So Pearson has a tutor, yeah, a writing tutor that can help students correct some mistakes. We have Duolingo. Have you heard of Duolingo? Have you played Duolingo? I think all of us have installed it, played a little, and then uninstalled it because we just don't have the discipline, right? Twee, do you know about Twee? Oh no, Paulette, definitely no. I don't think AI will ever replace, I don't think anything will ever replace traditional education. Busu, it's another website that you can use. Actually, I am going to share something with you, but later. Okay. Babbel, it's another artificial intelligence that helps students learn languages. Grammarly, do you know Grammarly? Have you used Grammarly? It's a writing tool that helps you correct grammar and vocabulary. Write and Improve, it's another artificial intelligence site where you can insert a text and you get immediate feedback. Linguist is another one to practice grammar and vocabulary. Readlang this is a kind of a translation reading website that can help you. Your students input the text and it can help them read it in their language or translate it if they need to. Memrise, it's artificial intelligence for learning vocabulary. Rosetta Stone, it's basically an English course that is adaptive, right? People can learn at their own pace, and then exams, exercises, things are going to come up as they appear. Chat GPT, our scary tool of the day, right? Anki is another tool that can help us with practicing vocabulary. At Puzzle, we can get videos and interact with the videos, right? So I have something for people who are connected on the Zoom call. Okay. I'm sorry for the people who are on the stream. I guess, you're going to get this somehow. This is a list of all the tools. I just got the pictures on my slide, but for all of you who are here on the Zoom, this is a list with all the tools and what the tools do. And actually, I have to say, this list was generated by ChatGPT. So artificial intelligence gave us a list of artificial intelligence tools that you can use. So please open it up, use it, share it with your friends. That's what we want, right? Okay, so what are some benefits of bringing this to flipping your class with artificial intelligence? So one is individualized learning paths. This is really hard to do without artificial intelligence. Like, I know that I have 3 students in my class who need more work on pronunciation. I know that these 4 need some work on grammar. I know that these students really need vocabulary. But when am I going to sit down to write these differentiated learning paths, right? But if I'm using some artificial intelligence tools, such as Linguist, for example, I can generate these plans, for my students to each one take a different path, right? Time saving. If we use it, as with anything that is new at the beginning, probably is going to take us a little time to work with it, to work around it. But once we start feeling confident and comfortable, this is going to save us time, right? As I said to you, I just wrote to ChatGPT, write me a list of artificial intelligence tools to use in an English class, and it just gave me a list, right? It saved time because I didn't have to search for all the tools individually. I just received the list, right? Great, Oscar. Thank you so much for sharing that. He's used Busuu, Duolingo, and Grammarly, and they have been very useful. There you go. Intelligent content recommendations. Yeah. We teachers have so much in our heads. We have so many reports to write, so many administrative tasks to tackle. We have to grade. We have to talk to parents. We have to do so many things, right? So sometimes we just follow a textbook. And there's nothing wrong with that, but our students nowadays, as we talked about in the beginning, they're not very, excited about only doing the same thing all the time. So we can get some intelligent content recommendations by asking this artificial intelligence, because all these tools have all the data around the internet. So they have way more ideas, than we ourselves only do. So we can get some really good recommendations, and also some recommendations that might tackle our students' specific needs. So some of these tools you can insert, for example, your students' essays. You put all the essays in and say, okay, give me the main topics that they need to study. Boom. And then you get some resources for each one of the topics, right? And adaptive learning. We can get these quizzes that are adaptive to our students' level of proficiency. Sorry, I have a cold. Bogota is a terrible cold place. Okay, so some practical steps to implement AI in flipped English classes. Content creation and curation. This is one of the key parts of flipped learning. We can either create our own content or curate it, find it on the internet. So you can use it utilizing AI-powered tools to generate or curate relevant learning materials. We can create interactive lessons with AI-driven content, right? Pre-class assignments. Remember that in the flipped class, we are doing some things before class and some things inside. So for the ones before class, we can assign AI-assisted readings, videos, or exercises before class. So for example, I didn't put the link there, the logo there, but there is a website called Newsella and another called Common Lit. And what they do is they have reading that is adaptable to different CEFR levels and to different Common Core standards in the state. So we can choose the readings for our students and modify them according to their levels. So the vocabulary that they get is different, the complexity of the text is different, and we don't have to do it ourselves. The AI does it for ourselves, for us, right? Encourage students to engage with the material and prepare for classes. We know that they like these things, you know, they like to play around, to do things that are techy. So probably we can engage them a little bit more, right? For in-class activities, shifting focus from content delivery to active learning during class time. We can have them use these artificial intelligences in class, or simply talk in pairs, or simply do some exercises, you know, in the classroom with us, where we can provide that support and that more expert peer. Okay, so then what happens? Conducting discussions, collaborative projects, and problem-solving activities, right? We can use this class time in order to have more interaction, more dynamic activities for our students. Assessment and feedback, using AI for automated quizzes, assessments, and formative feedback. We can analyze student performance data to identify strengths and weaknesses, so we can improve this part. And also, we can gamify elements with AI-generated challenges and rewards. For example, badges. Yeah, we can give student badges and put them into the class platform, or incorporating AI chatbots or virtual tutors for instant help and support. This can help us really motivate our students, because sometimes, I don't know, I teach writing, I teach academic writing, and it took me a whole lot of time to correct students' papers because they were just like so long. So now with the use of these virtual tutors, I can get some instant help, and I can focus on some aspects of the text, for example, coherence, cohesion, clarity of ideas, and I leave the grammar and vocabulary and the punctuation to the AI. So I optimize my time and I give all the correction that students need in a timely manner. So some concerns and challenges, of course, privacy and data security, ensuring students' information is protected. This is something important. We are always worried that whenever we use a Google-powered tool, then we have to provide our email and everything. And so this scares some people. Overcoming resistance to technology adoption among teachers and students. This is hard. Whenever we have an implementation of something new, there are people that are resistant, people that are scared, but however, there are always people who are early adopters. So we need to focus on working with the early adopters, so then we can build a cascade method of teacher training where we can help everybody get on board at their own pace, right? Not imposing the same pace to everybody, because not everybody learns at the same pace. and balancing AI with human interaction and personalized guidance. So I think the important thing here is making the decision. What am I going to use the AI for? What is the best use of me in class time? And how can I optimize what I do with my students, the human contact, the emotional component, the social emotional component. These are things that will never be replaced by any AI, any technology, right? So I want to give you a short demonstration. There is a website called Tweet, right? So there it is. Okay, so I have Tweet here, and Tweet is going to help me do something. Okay, I'm going to show you. I will go here, my project. I will create a project. I want to show you how fast this is going to work. So you can choose here the different projects that you want. Okay. So I want to create questions for a YouTube video. Okay. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to go into YouTube. You're going to see me doing the whole thing. So I'm going to have a video about, okay, I'm teaching my students the problem solution essay structure. This is my class for tomorrow, so I'm planning it right now. Okay, so I looked at this. How to write a problem solution essay, right? So I have this video. It's 15 minutes. Ooh, that's a lot. Oh, well, I don't care. My students have to watch this video. Okay, whatever. So I take the URL for the video, right?
Hey there, it's Wendy.
Sorry, Wendy, I'm gonna stop.
From Worldwide Speak, and I'm back. Today, we're going to talk about the
Sorry, Wendy, you speak too loud. Okay, so I'm going to go into Tweet, and I'm going to paste the URL for the video, right? It is going to give me just the 5 minutes, okay? The questions for the first 5 minutes. What do I want? A, B, C, D questions, open questions, or true or false statements? I want open questions. No. I want A, B, C, D questions. I want my students to go easy. Do the magic. Boom, boom, boom. In 3 seconds, probably the same speed as ChatGPT, right? Tweet gave me the questions for my video, right? And it gives me the answers. So I don't have to do anything. I just generated a super easy activity for my students. I can work on the after watching activity by creating a writing prompt or a conversation or something different. But I have this. I can advance quickly. My lesson planning is going to reduce its time. So also, I'm going to have more time for other things that lesson planning took a lot of, right? I can have video transcript if I want. I can also do 3 summaries, and I can do discussion questions for the video. So I want to add some discussion questions, right? So yes, of the same part, do the magic. So it gives me the questions for discussion. So now I have some ABCD questions, and I have, some discussion questions to get on with my class, right? So that was twee.com, TWEE.com. So just as that, we are going to be able to use all this artificial intelligence to make our life easier, hopefully. So some tips to getting started. Very important, start small. Integrate AI tools gradually to avoid overwhelm. This is the same for everything. If you have never flipped your class, flip only one lesson. Just do one thing at a time so you don't go crazy. Professional development resources for teachers to upskill in AI integration. This is important. We need to create a program. As I said, we can benefit from those early adopters, those people who are not scared of trying new technologies, and we can use them in order to generate a cascade model for teacher training in our institution. And collaboration and knowledge sharing among educators using AI in their classrooms. So whenever you do an activity, share it with your colleagues, tell them how it went, tell them what you did right, tell them what you did wrong, and then we all learn. So do we have time for questions? Maybe 2 minutes?
Thank you, Carolina or Master Rodriguez. It's been such an interesting presentation. I'm sure all of our participants have learned something. All of us will learn something new every day, don't we? Absolutely. I don't know if there are some questions. Oh, the one participant says this app requires payment. Do you have to register for TWI and pay? Is it a pay app?
I did it for free. What I just showed you, I have not paid a cent. No.
Okay. What about the sharing? How do you share the tasks? Once you design them, do you share the YouTube link and then you have the tasks, or it provides a link? Once you have designed.
It provides you with the question. So what I do is I generate a handout, like something simple on Google Docs or something that I can add a Google Jamboard to or something like that, that can help me keep it like in my platform, etc.
Yes, Professor Diego, I think you raised your hand.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. As you were presenting, an idea came to my mind, and I related to your topic. And I was thinking about self-regulation, how important this concept of self-regulation is, especially when you are dealing with technology and letting students take over, right? Be at the center of this learning process. So I was thinking, have you come up with strategies to allow students to develop this sense of self-regulation when dealing with technology?
Yes, well, thank you very much, Diego, for that question. This is something that is one of the biggest hurdles, the biggest obstacles and difficulties. I don't know how students in Honduras are, but students in Colombia are not autonomous, right? They are not. Our educational system has them too protected, too sheltered. And so when they go, I teach at university level, and when they get to the university, they lack these self-regulatory practices, they lack study habits, they lack so many things. And so one thing is to empower them, to show them that they actually can do what I ask them to do. Another thing is the first day of class, I always say, I trust you. I trust you. If you lie to me, that's your problem. You're an adult, you're a university student. And I have seen that by believing, trusting, and empowering students, they surprise you. My first class is at 6:30 in the morning. And my students arrive with a good attitude, like, okay, let's see what we're gonna do today. And my class is relleno, it's English. It's like they are engineers and lawyers and whatever. And so it's not one of the core classes for them, but still they invest themselves into it because they feel they are trusted, right? And I think that's something that our systems lack. And it's this I don't know, like setting high expectations for our students. Sometimes we set the expectations too low and they respond to that. Pygmalion effect, right? Yeah, thank you so much for your question.
And I think that connects to these what you mentioned earlier, the compassionate education. This connects straight to that, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, no, you're welcome. Thank you for your question. Jenny asks, any suggestions for all language development using AI? Yes. I love using the microphone option, the dictate option in Google and in Word online. I have my students dictate something to the AI, right? And so they click on the microphone option and then they start talking and they notice how many mistakes they have because the computer doesn't understand what they're saying. So they focus on correcting their mistakes and organizing. And also there are many great text-to-speech tools that you can use in order for students to write something, hear it from the text-to-speech tool, and then record it, right? So I make a combination of different tools in which students write something, listen to it, then try to record it in the other tool, and they check their pronunciation and their speaking independently in that sense. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jenny, for your question. Oh my God, I have just 1 minute. I would like to expand on the answer about why not AI will not replace traditional education since it presents many facilities to study independently. Paulette, I think this is something we're not ready for yet. Probably AI would replace jobs, right? It has replaced many jobs, but education as such will always need a human component. Education as such is the transformation of society. So we need the humans around for this to work. So I think it might replace certain processes, but definitely not education, right? I have just three conclusions really quickly. No, mentiras, five. Start small. Have a growth mindset. Yeah, let your brain grow with this. Don't worry about failing. Dare to fail. Yeah, try one tool next week. That's my conclusion. That's my invitation. And put students in the center. That is going to make all this implementation very successful and very easy for all of you. Thank you so much. If you have any question or further comments, I leave you my email, and it was a pleasure to be with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rodriguez, Master Rodriguez. It's been such an interesting presentation. We have all enjoyed your presentation and learned many things. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Love that. No, I mean, thank you so much.
Okay. Many thank you messages in the chat.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, well, that's all for this presentation. I think we do have a couple of more workshops and presentations, right? From 5:30 to 6:30. I mean, 6:30 to 7:30. So I invite you to join us in the next meetings. Thank you all for attending this conference.
Thank you all. Goodbye. Can't wait to see you in Colombia.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.